No, I should have paused it, you knob.
Please remain seated. You are now entering the Nerd Bunker.
Hello and welcome to the third edition of Nerd Bunker Podcast. I'm Michael and tonight I'm joined by...
Me! My name's Hayley. Hello.
I said that like I was expecting someone else, my guest tonight.
It's not somebody terribly exciting. I apologise. It's just
always
me.
you, and that sounded really bad on my part. This is our third week. You think we'd be getting the hang of it?
I know. Well, no. It's getting better. Stick with us. The recording's getting better. Everything's getting better. We're getting better.
It's a learning curve.
Yeah, of course it is. Rome was not built in a day. Neither was the podcast.
No. Let's start with what have you been watching, reading, listening to, buying, playing?
Oh, buying. Well, a load of rubbish for my kitchen, but that's not very interesting. Watching.
Depends if you're a kitchen nerd.
Oh, I am a kitchen nerd. I got a new tea and coffee pot, but I'm not supposed to keep buying things for the kitchen, so shh.
As a kid, my nan never washed her teapot up.
What?
You'd swill it out, but you'd never wash it up because it'd get that like tanning stain.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid, I washed it up once and I got an absolute bollocking for it.
Yeah, and you know what? Things like frying pans. My mum and dad never washed pans like that. You sort of, God, this is disgusting. You kind of preserve the flavour in it or something. And I'm like, get it in the dishwasher. And of course, they never had a dishwasher. They used hands.
I don't have a dishwasher.
You don't have a dishwasher?
No.
Are we going to spend this entire episode talking about kitchens?
No, I was just thinking we're going completely distracted.
We've not even got
now turned
started yet. Oh my God, this is a podcast about kitchens and dishwashers. It's not. We apologise. Right. This week, what couple of things. There's a programme on Netflix called The History of Swearing. And I thought, all right, give that a go. Thoroughly disappointed, I have to say. The first episode was about the F word. Fair enough. And he's giving it the big one, saying it's the worst swear word and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sat there watching it thinking, have we forgotten about the C word? Not even a mention.
Yeah.
And there's about 10 episodes, I think, in this series. And none of them are about the C word. And I was heartily disappointed because I expected an entire episode on it.
Is it American or?
Yeah. And actually, they did mention the C word once in the F word episode, and it was an English person that said it, like conversationally saying the F word, and they included the C word as well.
I never knew that the Americans don't really say the word bollocks.
Do they? Oh, I bet they don't say wanker either, do they?
No.
Although it was on an episode of The Simpsons, I think I get confused, but U2 or whatever, a band was on an aeroplane and they called somebody a wanker, and I'm like, and because it wasn't really a swear word to them, so.
That must have been one of the After Dark Simpsons.
Yeah. But yeah, I expected a good half an hour's worth of swearing, and it just wasn't what I was expecting, so never mind.
So that's a miss.
Yeah. I watched a programme on BBC Three called The Science-ish of Stranger Things. And I think they do it about different TV shows, and they break down...
So is that a podcast? There's a podcast called Science-ish, done by two doctors, and they look at the science behind popular films and TV shows and books and stuff.
Maybe it's the same thing, but this was on BBC Three, which I don't think is actually a channel anymore. It's just an online channel. Maybe wrong. But yeah, they do it about different films and TV shows, and they break down the science in sci-fi basically. So I watched the Stranger Things one. It's quite entertaining, but one thing really, really stuck out, and it was a real experiment that some Russian scientists did, however many years ago. It was in black and white, on dogs, and it was kind of distressing me while I was watching it. And he had a normal German Shepherd and a puppy, just some sort of random puppy, and oh god, this is awful. He severed the puppy behind its front two paws and physically attached it to the German Shepherd on its spinal column.
I've heard about that before. I think that was on a podcast.
Yeah, completely real.
And I was listening, it was like, that's gross. Ooh.
Yeah, and I kind of didn't want to say it because it sounds so awful, and I'm a doggy person anyway. And I kind of wanted to shut my eyes when it came on, but it just looked like the puppy was like laying on top of the back of the dog. And I'm getting a bit like stressed out watching it. But then they said that actually this Russian scientist, I should know his name really. If it wasn't for him, then things like procedures for heart transplants that we use today, wouldn't be where they're at. He trained people how to do heart transplants, and those techniques are still being used today. So that kind of balances out the whole Frankenstein dog bit. But yeah, at the same time, I was like, what the hell am I watching? This is BBC Three, and there's Frankenstein dogs, but there was,
the human centipede, but for dogs.
Oh God, no, that's a different episode. We're not going down the human centipede rabbit hole today. I need to steel myself before we start talking about those. Cyberpunk. Now, I mentioned this on the first episode. I was really excited. I've been really excited about getting that game since, they first started twittering on about it. And I think I've got to the point where I'm not going to get it, which is massive for me, because it was part of the reason I raced to get a PlayStation 5. And my friend that's got a PlayStation 5, he's got Cyberpunk, and he's just really, really disappointed. There is a lot of customization and everything. It's a sandbox type game that I really like, but it's all in first person apparently. So you don't even get to see your character the majority of the time. And
sounds a bit rubbish.
Yeah, and that's not even including all this.
You could put a nice pair of gloves on.
Well, oh yeah, I can see my gloves.
Pink fingernails.
But yeah. But all this trouble that they've had with the release and the technology, I think any decent games fan would say they would rather wait and have a decent game than something released too early. Even if it does go on and on a bit, you don't want a game that's crap to play. But even now, say my friend's been playing it and he just said he just don't rate it. And he loved Red Dead 2 as much as I did, so I know, we're on the same level. Well, yeah,
who doesn't?
But we're on the same level in the gaming world, so if he don't like it, I'm a bit... Should I not bother? Yeah.
So that saved the money. I think they've been a bit slow on the releases of some of the games for PlayStation 5. There doesn't seem to be that much available.
No, not for me anyway. I say now I'm waiting for the Harry Potter game to come out, and Horizon Zero Dawn 2, whatever that's called. I didn't actually finish the first game, but I got it quite late on. Really enjoyed it. So I'm just waiting for the new one to come out. So, I've basically got a PlayStation 5 sat there, not being played. apart from my little boy that plays the free game that came with it.
Does it back plays the PlayStation 4 though, doesn't it? It's backwards compatible.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah. I've still not played. Is it called Last of Us?
Yes. Yeah, I've not played that.
That is supposed to be really, really good. But if it's a game where I have to give it like my all and play it for 3 hours a night so I stay in the zone, that's not going to happen because I just haven't got time for that sort of business currently.
That's why I'm still stuck on Vermintide 2, so that I can just log on, play a match, bash the hell out of a few Skaven, and then log off.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of done within 10 minutes. And it's like, yeah, that's easy.
Well,
enough for
actually,
me. And it's set in the Warhammer world, the old world. So
yeah,
I'm happy.
because we've got a Switch as well, and I got what's it called? Whatever.
Animal Crossing.
Oh, I got rid of that. I got bored of it.
Zelda.
No, whatever iteration of Super Mario Brothers World, the 2D one, but they repackage it. They add some extra bits. Whatever the latest one is. I got that for my little one to play, and he had a go, but it's a bit difficult for him. So I'll just pick that up and have a little go and put it back down again. So that's probably why I've been watching more stuff, because I ain't got a game to keep me going. But the other thing, again, I mentioned this in the first episode. It was on my top 10. It was my honorary mention, Vikings. The last part of the last series is now on Amazon. I think it dropped a couple of days after I was expecting it to. But I've decided to start watching it from the beginning again. I wanted to be in the zone to appreciate it.
Yeah,
so
I need to finish watching it.
I think I've just finished watching the first series, and it's kind of nice, a little bit sad, sort of seeing Ragnar and knowing how it goes and what happens, and just thinking, mate, just chill out a bit. Maybe slightly more content with what you've got, because it's all going to go pear-shaped. But, it's a TV series.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing.
Oh, God, innit? But the last thing, and it's not something I've actually watched yet, because I believe it's on tonight, something I'm looking forward to. On BBC4, there's a series starting called Mortke Mode Secrets of Cinema. So that feeds into my little nerdy background of cinema, film, and what have you. I think one of the episodes is something along the lines of what is a British sense of humour, and they'll sort of pick it apart and go into the films, and it's sort of like a visual essay.
Not carry-ons.
I think it will be featured, obviously.
Have you seen, there is a video on YouTube of someone's done a Star Wars A New Hope, but it's done in the carry-on style.
No. Oh my God, you so have to send me that.
Oh, it's awful.
Oh, find it and send it to me. Find it.
Yeah, I'll dig it out later.
Because I do
post it up. But...
I do quite like when they do like 90s advert versions of The Witcher or a couple of different things I've seen, and they make it into like this 90s version. They're quite fun. I'm sure there was one on The Witcher. But yeah, that was about me for this week. So have you been doing anything terribly exciting with yourself?
Short answer, no. What did I watch? Yesterday I watched the original Alice in Wonderland from Disney. That's about all I've watched, really. I've been kind of busy doing stuff.
Oh.
I watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I watch a lot of how to improve DM skills and crap like that.
Oh, okay. Do you feel improved?
No, because it all goes out the window when you actually play it, and your players are like, "Oh, we're going to go do this."
Bloody awful players like me. Would it be possible, do you think, if I did this?
Reading-wise, I'm still reading Folly of the World.
All right.
I do pick these big books, so they tend to take me a while. Listening, I've been mainly listening to musical lists on Spotify. I've listened to a couple of podcasts. I listened to The Good Friends of Jackson Elias, which is a Call of Cthulhu podcast.
Yeah.
But mostly I've been listening to Audible. So I've just finished the second book in Joe Abercrombie's First Law series.
Right.
That's before they are hanged. And I think today I just started The Great Hunt, which is the second book in Robert Jordan's 14-book epic series of The Wheel of Time.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's massive, great big slab of story.
I don't know if I've got it in me to read out that Bricklight.
I read it. When did I read it? I read it probably 8-9 years ago, and I think I got to about book 8.
8 of 12.
But I read them one after 14.
Oh, 14, cry.
But I read them one after the other, so then I kind of overdid it.
Yeah.
But now I've decided I'm going to start doing it through Audible, so I can just listen to it.
Yeah.
But I like to leave a while between listenings. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing, really.
Good.
Played a few D&D bits, bit of Vermintide, but that's been it, really.
Yeah.
Bit of a sad nerd.
We have just started a new D&D campaign, though, haven't we? One of our friends is running it, the Tomb of Annihilation.
Yep, I'm looking forward to that. That's one of the modules that I actually wanted to play.
Yeah.
But I know that it can be a bit of a meat grinder.
Well, I did see, and I didn't know if I should have admitted it or not, but I have seen somebody play a bit of it, but in complete honesty, I don't remember any of the story or anything that happened. I just remember them travelling a lot. And it was basically a hex crawl. So
yeah, I'm sure it'd be homebrewed.
Yeah, I was going to say I can't see our friend doing that. But I do like all the characters that are coming out. Oh, I've never laughed so hard. I can't remember any of the character names. But the little halfling that sounds like George Formby.
Yeah.
That's not the guy that makes the grills. That's the Lancashire
banjo player, wasn't he?
Yeah, banjo player. Oh, ukulele. It was a ukulele. Oh, did you play both? Maybe. Oh God, so funny. And you're a bit of a miserable git, aren't you?
I'm a serious ex-soldier.
You're a miserable git. You're all going left, I'm going right. Fuck you, lot. Yeah.
Yeah, one's a big glittery dragon born.
Oh, my wonderful dragonborn bard. I've never played a bard before, so I thought I'd better go all out.
It sounds a bit like a drag queen. A drag
queen,
dragonborn bard. That's a mouthful.
We've established that they like the what's it called when you say he or she? I can't remember. The how you introduce yourself. She's definitely a she, but what's going on downstairs we haven't discussed. But I don't know if Dragonborn, what sort of business downstairs they have anyway.
Are they because dragons are like reptiles, so they lay eggs because you get dragon eggs.
Oh yeah, I've not really read much into Dragonborn, to be honest, because she doesn't have wings or a tail, as we established from like the player's handbook. But I've given her the tail and the wings as part of a costume because she's a bard. So I'm really hoping that, and I've hinted it a few times, that it's a bit of a Pinocchio story and she may get her wings and tail one day. So we'll see if it...
So basically what we're asking is, if anyone's listening, they can email in and tell us whether dragonborns have penises. The age-old question.
Yes. In a nutshell. Ah, swiftly moving on.
This week, we're talking about cartoons.
Cartoons. And not the highfalutin anime intelligent ones. We're talking about Saturday morning kids club.
I'm glad you said that because I know nothing about anime.
I like to think I do, but I don't really. I do enjoy watching like adult animation. But no, we're talking cartoons.
To be honest, I don't watch. I can't remember. Is it the Adventure Bros or something? There's a lot of Adult Swim ones, and I don't really watch any of them.
Oh, I've seen some of that. I don't know much about it, to be honest.
I think they may be too intelligent for me.
Just 'cause you're a nerd doesn't mean you have to be clever.
Well, that's the difference. You see, is it a geek or a nerd?
I know. Well, see, I was always under the impression that geek referred to being geeky about something that wasn't popular, so like watching Star Trek. But a nerd was actually an intelligent person, a brain, I think they might call it in America.
See, I always thought it was the other way around. To me, a geek would always have like the pens in the shirt pocket, go to school with a briefcase, and be really a high-powered businessman.
You know, just going totally off track. When we were at school, everybody had rucksacks, and in like the first few years, you only ever had your rucksack on one shoulder because that was the cool thing to do. And then by the time I got to year 10, when I decided that I wasn't going to be part of your popular club and I was going to be a geek on my own that did what I wanted, I wore 2 straps of my rucksack. I did. And that made me stand out from the crowd.
See, we used to have we had the options of a blue shirt or a red shirt. So it'd be a blue shirt with a red tie or a red shirt with a blue tie. Well, everyone wore a blue shirt. And I'd always have a red one just because it was different.
You're awkward.
That's what my mum would say because, like, she's like, where the hell am I going to buy a red shirt from?
Can't you just fit in, Michael?
Yeah. Anyway, we're digressing. Cartoons.
I know, we've not even started yet, have we? Cartoons. So, cartoons, what we're talking, we've got after school, we've got Saturday mornings. What do cartoons mean to you?
After school, well, when I was a kid, it wasn't really... After school was just like... I don't even know if CBBC was a thing then. It was... You only sort of had a couple of hours before the 6 o'clock news came on. And then it was took up with Blue Peter News Round. Neighbours. It was all bloody rubbish, so you only had a few.
Yeah.
The thing, I suppose my earliest memories of cartoons would be Saturday mornings, and I don't know if we're allowed to say him, he's not politically correct now, but it was Rolf's Cartoon Club.
Oh, Rolf Harris. Yeah. Well, I used to watch his... Do you know what it is yet? Oh my god, that was my Australian accent.
Alright, we've got no listeners in Australia.
Paedophilia aside, I used to enjoy the entertainment of watching Rolf Harris, but carry on.
Yeah, but it was mainly watching him. Because he'd do his little drawing and you'd get, you'd be like, oh, who is it? And then you'd always be disappointed when it was a Disney one. They obviously didn't want to pay all the money, so you only ever got like a snippet. You'd get like 3 minutes of that. Whereas a Looney Tunes, they show you the whole cartoons.
Yeah, they obviously had a deal going, didn't they?
I don't know, it's one of them things. Cartoons has always been there.
Yeah, see, I remember I'd come home from school.
We'd watch the Jetsons and all the early 60s cartoons.
Well, they were always repeated. So, I distinctly remember watching the Jetsons. But clearly it was a repeat. But I think that was definitely more of a Saturday morning job or a weekday morning in the holidays. Because after school, like you said, it was probably only, I don't know, an hour and a half or something before you had Blue Peter Newsround, Neighbours, and whether you watched ITV or BBC, we always watched BBC in my house.
Yeah, we were not really ITV family.
Oh, it's a bit. It doesn't mean anything anymore, but I think it was a bit sort of snooty. In them days, wasn't it? You know, the people that watched the BBC and the people that watched ITV.
You don't watch ITV for Coronation Street.
Or Blind Date and Gladiators. Ooh.
I was too old then.
What? You can't be too old to watch Gladiators.
I was going out and stuff then.
You out? You went out? You're supposed to be a nerd. You should be at home with your head in a book.
That's when I hid my nerdism.
Oh, you went through the phase of, no, I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm going to go out.
I deny all knowledge of it.
Oh, dear. But yeah, I remember I'd come home from school and it'd be like the broom cupboard, I think it was. And you had like Gordon the Gopher, and then it went on to Ed the Duck. They always had some sort of puppet getting involved. Yeah, so Saturday mornings were definitely different. That was more of a entertainment show. Again, it felt like it was on for 3 hours. It was probably only ever on for 1 hour or something. And they'd always have a couple of cartoons involved.
What was your Saturday morning programme? Because, I mean, I had things like Multicoloured Swap Shop.
No, I ain't that old.
Noel Edmonds.
I think the first one I remember was Going Live.
Yeah.
And then Live and Kicking.
That was number 73. I think that was ITV.
No, I don't remember them. It's weird because, I mean, you're not that much older than me, but how TV programmes changed very quickly over a relatively short space of time.
Yeah.
But I say they did repeat everything. I mean, I remember watching Follyfoot Farm, and that were a 70s thing, wasn't it? Did you ever watch that?
No.
It's something to do with horses set on the farm, anyway.
It sounded a bit like a girls' programme.
A girls' programme? Of course, it had horses in it.
Girls.
It was set on a farm. That's all I can remember.
Yeah, I lived in the countryside, so that had no interest to me.
Fair enough. But I think more for me, the cartoons that mattered more to me were the ones that I watched, because I used to get up early. I'd always be up early in the morning. So like Channel 4, before the normal kids programmes started, they'd always have a run of cartoons that were the same ones in the same order, different episodes obviously, but you always knew what were coming next. You know, they'd like have My Little Pony, then Transformers, then da-da-da-da-da, so you knew where you stood. Which comparatively now, you know, my little boy, he watches whatever the hell he wants, whenever he wants, pauses it, rewinds it, fast forwards it.
The thing is though, now you've got like Sky or On Demand, and you've got kids cartoons, Cartoon Network 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah, well, even
non-stop.
you've got the difference now. Like when, because my partner's a few years younger than me, so he was of the age where they had Cartoon Network, and I didn't have that. And watching, 24 hours a day cartoons, I didn't get that. They did. And now, say, my little boy doesn't even really watch TV. He watches things on YouTube, and there are cartoons on it.
You just have to be careful. Don't watch the Glaswegian Peppa Pig.
No, it's the kids' YouTube. It's not
the swearing Postman Pat.
No. But if I was gonna say my top 3 cartoons, number 1, without a doubt, has got to be Thundercats. And the official description of said cartoon: Thundercats follows the adventures of a group of cat-like humanoid aliens from the planet Thundera. When the dying planet meets its end, The group, known as the Thundercats, is forced to flee its homeland. While leaving in their Thunder Fleet, the Thundercats are attacked by the mutants of Plunder. I don't know where they come up with these names. Plunder. Who attack most of their starships. The damage means they cannot reach their intended destination, so they end up on Third Earth. I'm not sure where Second Earth is, but we'll go with it. The Thundercats become friendly with the natives of Third Earth, who help the Cats when the mutants find out where they are and attack again.
Is that Schnarf?
Yeah. I have absolutely no idea what happened in any of the episodes, but I just remember I always wanted to watch it.
Again, I was probably a bit too old. My sister was into it. I just remember that Mumra was cool, but that was kind of all I liked from it.
Yeah. Jitara, I know she was the sort of like, what's it called? Acrobat.
The cheetah one.
Yeah, and she had a big stick.
Lion-O?
Lion-O, Panthro, Wily Kit and Wily Cat. Oh, it's coming back to me now. So yeah, that'd be number one. Would you like to share?
I suppose one of my top three would be any of the Looney Tunes cartoons. I love Daffy Duck, especially the one where it's like
Oh wow!
Daffy and Melvin the Martian both try to claim Mars, and they've got like, I've got my disintegration ray. Yeah, I mean Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, Yosemite Sam, Bugs Bunny. I love all of them. Yeah, Elmer Fudd, Sylvester and Tweety Pie.
That wascally wabbit.
Yeah, they were kind of the ones I grew up with. I just enjoyed watching them. They're just like little 5-minute shorts you can get your teeth into.
I never even thought about them sort of cartoons. Yeah. Well, I'll give you my second one. It's along the same lines, to be fair. Jason the Wheeled Warriors.
I may have seen it, but it's not ringing any bells.
I have the theme tune in my head. I won't share it with you. That's a bridge too far. But I did my little, my preparation, bit of a Google on it. It's actually French-Canadian, which I didn't know. Came out in 1985. It was animated by a Japanese studio. And it was created purely to support a line of toys. So the toys came first, and then they're like, right, let's crack out a cartoon so that we can sell these toys.
As is often the case.
Yeah. It was an ongoing storyline which was left unresolved with no series finale. Of course, the toys didn't sell, so it just got axed. But I can remember the plants that were a bit sort of scary attacking. But again, I just remember it's something that I watched over and over again. So again, that's another, it's similar to the Thundercats type affair. But the other one, my number 3, if we're doing the top 3, is Rugrats. And I've included Rugrats. I think that was early 90s. Now, that was an after-school cartoon. But I remember watching that even when I was older, and I still found it funny.
Yeah, I watched it. I mean, and when did you say 90? 91,
it came
92?
out in the early 90s. So,
yeah,
I would have been 10.
I was going to say, I'd have been about 17.
Yeah. Oh, blimey.
So, yeah, I still watched it then.
Age means a lot when it's that age, isn't it? But as soon as you hit like 30, 35 means like nothing. But yeah, I would watch that when I was 10, but I would also watch it, when I was 15, 16, and I still found it funny. And something I found out a little while ago, but apparently Chucky was supposed to be like based on the idea of being Doctor Who. They had in one episode, they had some Daleks in the background or something, and I think the person that designed the character had a leaning towards Doctor Who, apparently.
I've not heard of that one.
There was definitely the Daleks in the background, and they were Chucky's toys. Yeah, I always remember the girl Angelica. That was the girl. You stupid babies. And the adults were like completely stupid and clueless and didn't have a Scooby Doo what was going on.
Did the same people that did that? Did they do the Is it the Wild Thornberrys?
I remember that cartoon.
That was sort of a family in Africa or something.
Yeah, it looks very similar because it was all Nickelodeon, wasn't
they
it?
Were Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
weren't
which
they?
again, Nickelodeon was a channel, wasn't it? So they made stuff and they had it on their own channel, and then it came down to, on the BBC or whatever.
We didn't get Nickelodeon over here until satellite really became popular, because I think it was in the States for quite a while.
Well, we didn't have a Sky Dish until, I don't know, I think I must have been 16 or something. And even then it was different. It was like this tiny little box and you got all the dodgy German channels on at silly o'clock.
Yeah, my dad loved technology, so we were quite an early. We got like a squareal.
Oh, what?
A squareal. It was like a little square satellite dish.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like, whoa, because we'd only got the 4 TV channels then.
Yeah. What were you watching on your little square dish then?
Mostly MTV Europe.
I remember MTV Europe.
Because they played proper music videos.
Yeah.
And like Headbangers Ball and stuff.
Yeah, MTV Europe. I watched that, I think, when I was 15, 16.
There used to be a show with a bloke on now, I can't remember his name now, but he'd sort of sit at a desk and it was people would ring in from all over Europe. And it was like live, I think.
See, I miss stuff like that. I know we've got so much more now, and we've got access to stuff.
You look at MTV now, and it's awful.
Well, it's not even. There's about five different MTVs. I think there was a joke on a meme once about when was the last time MTV actually played music, because on MTV they don't anymore, do they? It's like all these Visit My Crib or whatever it's called.
Shows.
Yeah. Oh, the scripted reality. Oh, I'm not even going to start whinging about that because we'll be here all night. So that was my 3. What did you only did one?
Yeah, so my other 2, in no particular order, would be the 80s Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Ah, yeah.
Mainly because it's a subject I love, but it was just a really good cartoon as well. Again, you see, that was a cartoon that was just made to sell more D&D.
What, the actual role-playing game?
Yeah, it was made in conjunction with... it was actually Marvel and TSR.
Okay.
And again, I think it was a Japanese company that did the animation for it, because I imagine it was released in the US. Back in them days, it'd take over a year before we'd get anything over here. So films would come out and you'd be like, oh, I'm going to see this film, and then you have to wait a year.
Yeah.
Till the UK got a release.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one of them. And the other one that I actually really love, my daughter actually got me into, and it's Disney's Gravity Falls.
Never heard of that.
So yeah, it's basically these twin siblings, Dipper and Mabel Pines. They get sent to their great uncle's house, who runs a tourist trap in Gravity Falls, Oregon. But basically in it, they deal with paranormal forces and supernatural creatures, and it's just full of pop culture jokes, Easter eggs. It's kind of like everything I love.
Oh, wow. Is that on Disney Channel now?
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus at the minute. I think there's 4 series of it, maybe more.
Oh, okay. What was it called again?
Gravity Falls.
Gravity Falls. Oh, I might give that a little tinkle tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's got like those little cryptid references of Bigfoot.
That's what pulls you in, though, isn't it? When it's like a little warm feeling in the back of your head. You're like, oh, I got that private little joke. Ooh. What was that film? Ready Player One. Oh my God, I was bouncing around the living room when I watched that because it was.
I've not seen it. I've not read the book and I've not seen it.
You need to see that film.
But I did read, because Spielberg did it, didn't he?
Yeah.
And apparently he took out all the references to himself.
I did hear that.
So I don't know how much of it was missing. But I mean, if you got no E.T., no Indiana Jones, if they're in it anyway.
I'm not sure. I need to rewatch it, but literally, it was just like, oh my God, that's that. Oh my God, that's that. Oh my God. And like the entire film, you know, I'm just like jumping up and down.
I've done that on the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the
Yeah.
Iron Giant. Oh, look, there's
And near
so-and-so.
the end, when they're fighting the big bad or whatever it is.
Don't spoil it.
No, it's not going to spoil it. But they crack out the weapon, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's the round spinny thing from the film Krull, which have...
Oh, yeah, I know the one, but I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. And that literally, in that moment, because not loads of people have seen that film, you know, but in that moment when I saw that, it was just like a fanfare went off in my head. I was like, oh my God, it's the thing from Krull. And, you know, it was like the best film that I'd seen in a really long time. So I got really excited about that.
So yeah, that's my top 3, but it's like most of these things, it might change next week.
Yeah, well, it does, doesn't it?
I'll see a video and it'll be like, oh, I remember that. Oh, that was way better than Daffy Flipping Duck.
Yeah. Well, we'll do this again in 6 months' time. Say, what are your 3 favourite cartoons? But yeah, mentioning the whole merchandise thing. I mean, you don't think about that when you're a kid and you're watching the cartoon. But a lot of those cartoons in the like 80s and 90s, they were all based around merchandise, and some had comics as well.
Yes.
And it was all literally just to keep selling more toys, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I remember, I think I had a couple of He-Man toys, She-Ra toys, and there was like the magazine, the sticker book, and they're just trying to pull every penny they can out of you.
The He-Man cartoon came out 2 years after the toy was released.
Wow, that's long, isn't it?
So it's just done to push up sales.
But we can't mention He-Man without mentioning Masters of the Universe, which is still a really good film. And I could watch that today and still enjoy it, and I've seen it a million times. Dolph Lundgren, they knew what they were doing. Tell me you like it.
It's one I've actually seen, and it's all right.
Ah, it's all right. Blimey. I'll tell you something though. When the last time I watched it, which it's less than a year ago. I mean, you know, Courtney Cox is in it. That's quite a well-known. Oh, you know, Courtney Cox, and she's like one of the main characters.
Yeah.
No.
I know who she is. She was in Friends.
Yeah. yeah. Oh, but a big clanger that fell for me. I was like, who's the bloke? Oh, bloody know who he is. And like literally the entire film, I could not, and I refused to Google it. I'm like, I know who he is. It's going to come to me. And at the end, in the credits, I can't remember his real name now, so I sound like an idiot. But it's Tom Paris from Voyager. Neil Duncan Smith. Something like that. And as soon as the name came up, I was like, oh my God, you're from Voyager. How did I not get that? It was like yesterday I watched Mulan. Finally got around to watching Mulan. Fab film, by the way. I really enjoyed that. And there was the Mulan's mum, and I'm sat there looking. I know her. I'm not going to Google it. Again, got to the end of the film. It was Keiko from Next Generation, another Star Trek actor. I'm like, bloody hell. I know these people, but when you're watching it and you see their face and it's like, oh God, what do I know you from? Oh. But I did get it eventually. There was a point to what I was saying before I fell down into the rabbit hole. Yeah.
We were on about cartoons to sell merchandise, to sell toys.
Toys, because we've just, had Christmas. I got my little boy an action figure for Black Panther, because he's not seen the film Black Panther because he's too young, but they see bits and bobs, and
he's not alone now.
It's a really good film.
It sounds like I don't watch
I
anything.
don't watch anything. I don't do anything. No, I'm not doing it. But yeah, tiers of quality in toys is something that I've noticed, and I don't know if toys now are just shit, or they sell better quality ones that are basically aimed at adults that are going to collect them, and they're a lot more expensive. And the ones that you get to give to your kids, it were crap. I think it were, I don't know, 15 quid, and it's the full size one, and it's just really poorly made, and £15 for an action figure is not.
I know with some of the Star Wars ones, they're released so awkwardly that it is done just to make a collector's market.
Yeah.
Like some of the C-3PO ones were done, you'd get like one per box of toys.
Yeah.
Just so that it was more rarer, and then it would drive prices up and such. It was.
Yeah. Well, it's all. I mean, they spend millions on bloody scientists and psychologists that figure out how to get as much money from us as possible. No, that's really cynical. But it's true, isn't it? I mean, releasing a cartoon to sell a toy, it's the same thing.
I'm sure there's a whole department at Amazon.
Oh God,
dedicated to plucking my money out of my pocket.
Do you have any? Because I know you're a hoarder. Do you keep anything fresh in box or whatever the nerdy term for that is?
You won't see it on the podcast, but that was Darth Vader mint on card.
Oh, I can see a fresh in box. It was a black figure, but I couldn't actually see what it was. Ah. As you rattle the toys off your shelves.
That's an original 1980s Bosk Empire Strikes Back.
See, this brings me on to my next point. Now, when it was on, I texted you. I just happened to be watching the news, and a programme came on the news about Star Wars toys, and I'm like, where? And on BBC News 24, they have these special little shows that they pop in every now and again. And it's called Toy Empire, the British force behind Star Wars toys. It's still on BBC iPlayer for 21 days or so you may go and watch it.
At the time of recording.
At the time of recording, when you listen to this in 5 years, it's probably not going to be there. But, little programmes like that I find really interesting. They talk about troubles at the factory, and they were trying to make these toys from plans sent from America, but they didn't have the right tooling equipment, and there was no way that they were going to sell the same amount in England that they would sell in America, so they had to redesign some of the toys. The Death Star in America didn't actually look anything like the Death Star. It was this, 4-story bit of plastic. And the British one, they actually made it like half a dome, and it was made out of cardboard, and they put a mirrored floor in it.
I did used to own
Oh,
one.
wow, really?
The English one, but I sold it.
Yeah. What's the company? Palitoy.
Yeah, well, Palitoy. They made Action Man.
Yes.
Star Wars. And they were part of the General Mills group, so that owned a toy, like their own Kenner, who made Star Wars in the States.
Yeah.
Harbert Toys, and they owned all these different little toy companies around the world. But yeah, all my toys were Palitoy toys.
Yeah. And where did they go?
Car boot.
Oh, God.
All my Action Man. I didn't know they didn't make Action Man anymore.
Yeah. In fact, I think according to that programme, because none of the shops wanted to take the Star Wars merchandise, they thought it was some obscure little sci-fi film, a bit of a B-movie, that wasn't going to go anywhere. So this Palitoy company, they actually did some sort of a deal, giving them the Action Man toys at a special price.
Yes,
I
think they said you had to stock so much Star Wars to sort of get Action Man.
Yeah. It's crackers when you think about it, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
But I remember seeing on that programme they had a Palitoy Boba Fett and it went for like £2,000. And I thought, yeah.
Cheap.
But I wonder if you've got one of them.
I've had a Palitoy mail away Boba Fett, but not a mint on card. To be honest, I'd say a mint on card Boba Fett on a Palitoy card would be $3-4 easy now.
Wow.
I mean, the price of Star Wars toys has gone crazy.
Yeah.
I know that a Palitoy vinyl caped Jawa, little Houdini, the little Jawas.
Yeah.
I know that a Palitoy, a vinyl cape one of them is rare as anyway, but a vinyl cape one on a Palitoy card sold for just over $12,000.
Wow.
And that's still tiny compared to like, do you remember the cartoon, dragging it back to cartoons, there was Droids cartoon?
Yeah, vaguely.
It was C-3PO and R2-D2, and there was a figure in that called Vlix, and he's the rarest commercially released Star Wars toy to buy. They only released him in Brazil, and a mint on card one of him sold for £43,425.
Wow.
Yeah, you're talking Star Wars collecting now is way out of my league. It's now all these toys that all these people that bought these toys have now got disposable income. And I mean, I say that, but Lego in 2007 for the 30th anniversary did these sort of silver C-3POs, little minifigures. They did 10,000 of them. And they sell for about £1,000 each. And then they did 5 solid gold ones, solid gold Lego C-3PO figures. There's 5 of them, and they're about £7 and a bit grand if you can find one. But it's crazy.
Solid gold.
Yes.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh, it's mad, isn't it? And collecting things in general. I remember my parents used to collect a lot of like decorative ornament type things. I think in the 90s, Myth and Magic was quite big. These like...
Oh, it was like a wizard with a crystal.
Yeah, it was like a metal mini diorama, with some sort of a crystal on it. And they spent a bloody fortune on them, and they'd get it for a birthday present and a Christmas present. And now, you literally cannot give them away. Nobody wants this crap. And they spent a fortune on them, And when I were a little kid, I think everybody goes through a phase of collecting rubbers, erasers, smelly ones in the shape of pencils or a toothbrush. But I collected Bad Taste Bears. Do you remember them?
Vaguely. Are they little, like, ornament things?
Yeah, slightly rude. There was one I had, and it was a Henry Hoover, and the end of the Hoover was in a place downstairs. And I had one of the original ones, because they did like a re-release, and they were worth about £200 or £300. I broke mine. That's the end of that story. But I've never really bothered to collect anything else. I don't know. I suppose I'm a bit of a minimalist, but I do end up with a bit of clutter. So I keep having a clear out.
I'm a lazy minimalist, and I hoard everything. I collect for you.
Okay. To finish off, then, we'll just mention a couple of toys that we both liked when we were younger. As this is a cartoony / merchandise episode. And first, my disappointments as a child. I really wanted a Mr. Frosty, and I never bloody got one.
It would have tasted like shit if you did. It was just...
I really wanted a Mr. Frosty. You just turned the back, and the solid ice cube turned into this beautiful slush, which you added a little bit of E-numbery coloured stuff. And it made this totally cool drink. Now, I do know people that have had one, and apparently crushing the ice was fucking hard, and it never really worked.
Look, it's a cheap plastic toy with a solid block of ice. You can kind of see where that's going.
Yeah. And my second major disappointment as a child I really wanted an a la carte kitchen. Now, I just remember seeing the advert, and there was a little girl stood next to a pile of plastic. Somehow, she put some baked beans in a little saucepan on top of it, and it warmed the beans up, and she put them on a slice of toast and gave it to her dad. Now, for whatever reason, I thought that was amazing. And I really wanted one. And I never got one. It probably took about 45 batteries, them big uns.
A C battery,
So you could heat your... yeah, or a D. Oh my God, a D. To heat your beans up. So yeah, they were my major disappointments.
I suppose my biggest disappointment was I wanted a Action Man command tower.
Right.
It was like a big orange plastic tower. It got zip slide and
Oh, that sounds
training
cool.
tower, so it got a cargo net. And I never got one.
Bloody
But
parents.
my dad made one, and I remember at the time I was so gutted that it wasn't the bright orange Action Man one. But the one he made was probably 1,000 times better. But being the ungrateful little shit I was, it was like, oh, that's not the original one. What?
Yeah. Oh dear.
So it's like, oh, I was disappointed I didn't get it, but I got something better.
Yeah, but you didn't see that it was better.
I didn't see it at the time. Now it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. We did this and got this, and a little garage for the Jeep to go in, and it wasn't the one I saw on TV.
See, we bought...
Power of marketing.
yeah. Not this Christmas, but the one before. We bought my son a Super City garage, which is basically one of these big ass garage type things with a lift and parking spaces and chutes that the cars go down and all the bells and whistles. You know, we've got one kid, we're going to get him hopefully his version of your Action Man tower. 100 quid this thing cost. What a pile of crap. It was the cheapest, flimsiest plastic that broke basically when you breathed on it. £100 quite a lot, for this.
Not kid proof.
Yeah, it was awful. But so your Action Man tower probably was a lot better. But a couple of toys I did get that meant a lot to me. My Thundercat sword. Oh God, I used to love running around with that. And the middle bit lit up.
Yeah.
Like Lionel's did, So I was always giving it the Thundercats running around the house. I did put a hole in the wall upstairs next to my bedroom with it. I don't remember getting told off, so I probably had a deal going with my mum, and we probably didn't tell my dad about it. But that was my number one toy, I think. Apart from that, we used to just play shops a lot. So that was purely, what would you call it, theatre of the mind.
Did you have one of the post office counters?
No, I just used to pull my desk across my doorway in my bedroom and then pretend to sell everything out of my bedroom. I don't know, it worked. That's all I can say. And then probably when I was a little bit older, Meccano. I never got into Lego. Meccano was a bit more serious, My
dad used to go away and he'd always buy loads of Lego for when he came back. And I used to have all the, surprise, actually, I've still got it all.
Have you really?
Big box in the loft, yeah. I've got the bright yellow Lego castle.
Oh, wow.
The armoured in. I've got quite a lot of Lego space as well. Benny from the Lego movie, the astronaut.
Yeah.
I've got loads of him from the proper sets.
See, you could sell all your gear, make a fortune and retire. Have you not considered this?
No, I can't do that. I'm going to be building that Lego when I retire.
I can't sell it? All right. Is that your retirement plan?
Yeah. I'm going to be sat there at the kitchen table, cup of tea, collect my pension and then go and build a Lego castle.
Your poor wife wants a villa in Spain, feet up, cocktail.
Florida.
And you're like, oh, Florida, sorry.
Florida, not Spain.
And you're like, no, I'm going to put my Lego castle together that I've had for the past 70 years.
Yeah, too right.
Go on, what else did you have then?
Oh, so the toys I used to probably mean the most to me, other than my Lego, I used to love. They used to be called Zoids,
Eh?
and they were like these little model kits that you'd put together, and they'd build like these dinosaurs. And you'd wind them up, and then they'd sort of move along. They were based on what's the Japanese name for it? Where they got like a little driver in, like a giant Godzilla. But they were like a mechanical version of them. They used to clip together and push fit.
Oh,
I
right,
was
yeah.
playing with them because it was all interchangeable. Obviously, as I've said probably several times, was Star Wars toys.
Yeah, I saw that coming a mile off. But
My favourite Star Wars toy was probably the Snow Speeder. Always
Yeah.
wanted an AT-AT, but I was never rich enough to get one. So I always got like a little ships like the X-Wing
See,
and the
when
Snow
I
Speeder.
was scouring eBay, of which you helped because Little and wanted an AT-AT desperately, we found quite a decent one, didn't we, actually? I was expecting to get some sort of crappy old big thing, but whatever version it is...
the Galactic Heroes?
Yeah. The legs come off a little bit too easily, which frustrates him, but then he's only 4, so... but it's got the proper sound effect. The 2 little guns at the front move, and it lights up, and that made his day. So that was a winner.
When we were looking, I was like, ooh, I quite like that. Is it wrong to want that at 40?
you, you can come round and visit it when we're out of lockdown.
When he's finished with it.
Yeah. He'll sell it to you for about
he might
200 quid.
He might order it.
Oh, God, I hope not.
Yeah. Mum, can I put this in the loft?
No. Sell it, get rid of it, buy something else.
Other than Star Wars toys, I got quite into Action Force toys, which were basically Action Man scaled down to Star Wars toy size, so 3¼ inches.
All right.
They were Action Force in the UK because they were made by Palitoy. They later became G.I. Joe, which was the American version, which then kind of lost my interest a bit because it got too many points of articulation.
Oh, yeah.
But they did what they called the Robo Skull, and it was kind of like a TIE fighter, but it was a skull.
Oh, wow.
And it was Palitoy only, and it was made up out of bits of Star Wars toy, and it was a right kit-bashed toy.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just absolutely crazy. It got laser guns coming out of its eyes, and
it entertained you.
yes, till you lose the guns in the back garden.
Ah, well, I think the Hoover has already ingested a few pieces of Lego from our house, so it'll never be the same again.
You can contact them and buy them or get them.
Yeah. We've got some of the Mario sets, and it's all just mashed up and all mixed together, and he's having fun. Crack on.
Have you seen the Ecto 1 they've just released?
No.
Ghostbusters car. Oh, it looks amazing.
See, I really wanted to get that Steamboat Willie one. They are expensive though, aren't they?
Lego is now.
Steamboat Willie was about 80 quid, I think.
Yes.
And I just really liked the fact that the bricks were all, grayscale, not black and white, grayscale. And it just looked awesome, and I would have really liked to have had that on my shelf, and I don't think you can get them anymore, can you? I should have just bought it when I saw it, but...
You can.
Oh, you can?
If you want to play crazy money.
Oh, no. No, they were available on the website when I saw it first.
I saw it before it was released, and it's like, oh, get that. Left it. Oh, it's sold out now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I debated asking for the Stranger Things one for Christmas. I think that were £170, was it?
Looks cool,
Something
though.
like that. It does, and then I'm like, do I really want to spend £170 on a Lego model that I will like?
Imagine what you could buy for your kitchen for 170 quid.
Ah.
A full-scale cappuccino machine.
Well, if we're going to go back to talking about kitchen stuff, I think we're better end it here. End it.
That little rambling conversation about kitchen wares and cartoons. Hopefully you can join us again next week. Please like us on Facebook at Nerd Bunker Podcast, and you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nerd Bunker Pod. If you really like us, you can help fund this podcast by sending some money our way via Patreon. I don't know, has that got a name or anything?
Patreon.com/nerdbunkerpod.
There you go. So, thank you for listening, guys, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.
Thank you very much. See you again.
Intro music is Battle Theme by Kamiku, and is used under Creative Commons Zero license. All copyrights are property of their holders, and everything else belongs here in the bunker. Please follow us on Twitter, Instagram at NerdBunkerPod, and like us on Facebook. Please leave a review as it really helps them out. Thank you for listening.